The Golden State Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks 120-117, led by Steph Curry with 37 points on 5 3-pointers. The Mavericks had Luka go for 31. Klay Thompson in what should have been a revenge game for 22. Kai had 21, but a huge fourth quarter. Kwab, this game was exciting. This game was great. I mean, usually when I watch basketball, I watch it like in two different ways. One way is just kind of like forget analyzing it and just kind of like, yay! And I found myself doing that a little bit during this game. It was fun. It was a fun game. To me, I think the difference in the game pretty much came down to the fact that when the Warriors had to buckle down on defense, they could. And they picked up Luka, Kyrie, whoever was bringing the ball up from half court. And the only way, honestly, that the Mavs even got back into this game was just because Kyrie's so phenomenal one-on-one that he was able to just create offense on his own for a chunk of the fourth quarter there. And I was screaming at my computer. I was watching my computer, like, give the ball to Kyrie even before the fourth quarter, because you're having Luka Doncic bring up the ball. You're having all these other players bring up the ball, and they're picking them up at half court. And it's like, well, no one can break this ball pressure. By the time you get your offense started, it's like 12 seconds left in the shot clock. You're discombobulated. It wasn't good half-court offense by the Mavs. And I think ultimately, even though they did take the lead, and a lot of that was sparked by Kyrie, I just think it took a lot out of him. Steph Curry goes for the last 12 points for the Golden State Warriors there at the end. He's still, just a phenomenal. There's not a better player to watch when he's on than Steph Curry. The most fun player of all time to watch. I will say that. Most fun player to watch. I've never had more fun watching someone play basketball than Steph Curry. And he goes off for the last 12 points there for the Golden State Warriors. Just a lot of movement. They had a split action play with Draymond. I think he hit Kuminga. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. There's no one in chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comments, but I think it was Kuminga he hit on a split action. Maybe Moody. But the Warriors just in general, man, it seems like the Warriors of old. I know they're missing Klay, but a lot of movement. Steph Curry just petrifying defenses when he's off the ball. Split action here and there. I do think they need a couple tweaks if they're going to win the West. But right now, I think you can make a legitimate case that they're the best team in the West. Your thoughts, Kwab?
Yeah, like you said, it was a fun game to watch. Like a lot of elite shot makers were going to work. Like, so you're just kind of as a fan, you're just trying to enjoy the game. Like, it's a lot of crazy shots were being hit. Going into this game, I was excited about like the potential matchups that would happen from the Golden State side, because we've talked about this on previous episodes, previous reactions, how deep Golden State is with this year's team. So like I was wondering, who are they gonna put on Kyrie? Who are they gonna put on Luka? Because the different options they have with like Moody, Draymond. Who else is it? Wiggins, Kyle Anderson didn't play, but like he's another option usually they would have. So like I was in my mind, I'm like trying to picture like, okay, which way is it gonna look? And the game started early on. It was Curry was guarding Klay, which I was like, this is weird. This is freaking just a weird visual, man. It's just that's just a weird visual. But like I said, it was a fun game, and it came, like you said, it came down to like Golden State being able to buckle down on defense. I was more surprised that Dallas didn't take advantage more with their bigs, because that's where I felt like they have the advantage when it comes to this game. Well, one of the advantages they have Luka and they have Kyrie. Let's be clear. That's what's going to be an advantage. But I expected more like to see a lot more like pick and roll, try to open up for like the lobs.
They did at the end. Gafford was getting some looks at the end there.
Yeah, but I thought I expected it to like early on. But early on, it felt like they kept trying to force the ball to Klay, which I get it. It's the first game back, so like you kind of want him to have like that moment or whatever. So like I understand that, but if you like look up and down the stat line, like you could see if Curry, like you say, when Curry's on one, it's like one of the most exciting players to watch. But then you see you're getting contributions from Kuminga off the bench, Buddy Hield off the bench. I mean, even Melton, who's starting now,
He hit
came
a
in
huge three.
just a huge,
Huge three. Yeah.
huge three. Like just that. But like, yeah, but when it came down to Curry going psycho at the end, like as always, so you get that. But Dallas side, a couple of times, I guess we've gotten a chance to watch him. Do you see? Is there anything that when you watch him, you feel like you're concerned about when it comes to the team?
I mean, the thing with Dallas, the reason why I didn't like Dallas last year was because I don't like their half-court offense of just 5 out, give the ball to Kyrie and Luka, and just create whatever you know what I mean? And they'll run a pick and roll with a big, and they run inverted pick and rolls too with like Grimes or like another guard. But to me, it's just there's no imagination on the offensive end. But after a while, when they keep winning and they keep scoring, you kind of have to just take the L for me and just be like, okay, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe like they can survive like this. So for me, I wish there were more sets. I wish there was more movement. To me, it's like ISO Kyrie, ISO Luka, or pick and roll up top with no actions outside of that. And that kind of concerns me. I don't think Quentin Grimes. I know Quentin Grimes played really good today, but I still don't think he's comfortable in his role. They're missing PJ Washington. They're missing Dante Exum. Those are two players who were huge for them last year.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of unfair for us to judge the Mavs completely. But at the same time, like, you know, you do have enough bodies to win. So you should have won this game with the lead that they had in the fourth quarter. I just think the Mavs in general, it's Kyrie, Luka, and everybody else just kind of stand around and just, when we pass you the ball, make sure you can hit a three. And I think that's a lot harder than people think it is for players who grew up with the ball in their hands and you know, have been the number one options their whole lives. So, like I said, I've been proven wrong with that take, though, because they did make the finals last year, and they are one of the better offenses in the league. It's just not the brand of basketball that I necessarily would like to play or that I would coach if I was a coach.
Gotcha. I mean, but like I completely understand what you're saying, but kind of also like people will counter that and say that the whole thing is that you want your best players to have the ball in your hands. So
Makes sense.
just, and like we always talk about, we talked about this before, whereas sometimes like you feel like when it's just like the one-on-one play style it's just too much, but like they hit tough shots, so you're kind of like
I mean, honestly, they got back in this game because they're like, we're getting ball pressure from like the half court line.
Yeah.
Let's just give the ball to Kyrie, and Kyrie's going to be Kyrie. That's how they got back in the game. There was no like adjustment outside of like, let's run this set. It was like, just here, Kyrie, go
Welcome. Go to work.
That was the adjustment that they made. And again, like Luka was horrible from three, but I think he was aggressive for most of the night going to the paint, and that's my favorite type of Luka. But they need other players to step up. I mean, I'm a Knick fan. If you're a Mavericks fan, I'm a huge Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes was my favorite Knick. He was my favorite Knick. I know that comes as a surprise to a lot of people, but I think he has a lot of potential to be a great 3-and-D player. I think he's an underrated playmaker. But what I see from him is what I saw from him in New York at the end of his tenure, where it was just like Tibbs told him, stay in the corner and only shoot when the ball's passed to you. And if you get the ball, give it up right away to Kyrie or Luka. And I just don't think that a lot of players can be in that role. I mean, PJ Washington was great in it last year. You know, Exum was great in it last year. It's just not comfortable for a lot of people. Yeah. And I don't know if Grimes is going to be able to fulfill that role because he didn't seem comfortable in that role in New York. You know, he complained at the end of his tenure, like, man, I feel like every shot is worth everything. So, I think PJ Washington coming back is going to be huge for them. I think Quentin Grimes is a phenomenal role player. He can be a phenomenal role player. He's a fantastic perimeter defender, but they just don't seem to be clicking yet. Even though I think today he played a lot better. And honestly, he was a huge reason why they turned around the game in the first half. Grimes came in, they started speeding up the pace. He played good defense, but he just hasn't done that all year, really consistently. So and until they can get contributions from others consistently, like if you can count on Washington when he gets back for like 15 a night, if you could count on Dinwiddie when he's in, to score. They just haven't really gotten that in Dallas. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is in part to, we're going to give the ball to Luka, we're going to give the ball to Kyrie, and then whatever happens, happens. I just don't think you can't get mad at other players when they're not being involved in touching the ball.
I mean, but then, do you worry like, well, they should know their role? in terms of like
Yeah.
that'd be
No,
like
you're right. There's another side to it too. Like again, like Luka and Kyrie, like, yeah, you want the ball in their hands. Like, and if this is the offense we're gonna like, this is what we're gonna do. And they went to the finals with this, so it's not like a bad thing. It's just that I think it takes a very specific mindset and a very specific type of player. And I think they struck gold with PJ Washington last year.
Yes, they did. They definitely did.
And I think he's gonna play a huge role, but it's just not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, Najee Marshall had like a good game for them. I feel like defensively, but he doesn't provide the same like type of floor spacing that PJ Washington has before.
Yeah.
And, this is the other thing I was going to ask you too. Other thing I see is sometimes on like I see online people complain about the Lively and Gafford bigs. Like they feel like Lively should be starting over Gafford, but I'm like they play the same amount of minutes. They're both very effective. Like.
Doesn't matter to me.
I just feel like with them two, like I said, this game, like they both had in terms of like you look at the stats and like it looks like they both had effective games because they finished both close to the basket. I wish they used them more, especially because one of Luka's greatest assets is that he's an amazing passer, regardless of like we love him as a scorer, the step back threes, all of that, but his passing is phenomenal. Kyrie's also a great passer, so sometimes I wish like if they were able to find them more in spots just to put pressure on the rim and then that would open up the floor more for like shooting and all that. But again, great game,
fantastic game.
Great shooting.
Warriors are good, man.
Warriors are good.
Yeah, Warriors are good. Buddy Hield looks comfortable. I think Kuminga off the bench is a good look for them.
Yeah.
DeAnthony Melton was always been one of my favorite like underrated players in the league. I think he's a good fit there. They're good. Yeah. They're good. I think Jackson Davis had a good game today. I read somewhere that Warrior fans were down on him. I didn't know that, but if you are down on him, I think he played well today.
He did.
They're just they're a solid team, man.
Looney came off the bench, had 11 rebounds, just being old reliable. Like even
a huge putback. Yeah.
Even I mean, what's his name didn't. I think he only hit one shot, but like Pods, who was supposed to be counted on as like was supposed to have a big year this year. Like he's also coming off the bench. Like they're very. Very
Bro, and Draymond's hitting threes.
That's the most like
early. People forget, man. Draymond used to hit threes though. Like this, it wasn't abnormal when Draymond was hitting threes early in his career, especially early in that dynasty run.
Yeah,
he wasn't Klay or Steph, but he was like, you can't leave me open.
You have to like at least worry about it a little bit.
Yeah, people forget that. Like people disrespect Draymond. Like he wasn't I'm saying shooter, but like he couldn't shoot the three back in the day. I don't know what happened.
I mean,
but
okay,
he's having a great year from three, which is funny.
I had to look it up to make sure because I remember somebody said the stat. I was like, wait, what? He's shooting 45% from 3-point line.
Bro, that's crazy. And he's shooting too. It's not like he's not taking threes. What was he, 2 for 4 today? 2 for 4 from 3.
That's a great. Those are great numbers to have. Phil. That opens up the floor. If you have to worry about Draymond also hitting threes, Jesus Christ. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
All right, well, the Warriors escaped with a 120-117 victory over the Dallas Mavericks. Kwab and I will be back very soon with our new power rankings. Also, a full episode coming for you soon. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time for another episode of The Dime. Peace.